cut that off on purpose because I don't have one that says what we're painting today. I didn't get one from Renegade. Anyway, what's up, Power Ranger fans? It is Monday, Morphinomial Monday. I'm super excited, as I always am, to spend a Monday with you. But I'm extra specially excited because 2 weeks in a row, and we have a whole lot more going even after today. I don't have anybody showing anything in the chat. So if you're in the chat, if you can hear me and everything, let me know. Looks like some people are popping in now. I am Daddy Louie. I am a member of the Circle of Nerds. You can find all my content over on YouTube, youtube.com/Circle of Nerds. I'm also all over the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. You can find me on the Circle of Nerds there as well. Thank you, as always, to Renegade for having me on stream. Today, we are diving back into Rise of the Psycho Rangers. I know everybody was really excited. We were painting a lot of new unreleased things for a while there, and we're going to continue to do that in the coming months. We've got Renegade Con coming up at the end of August. You can check out the schedule. There's 2 painting streams that weekend. One is a new Power Ranger model, which was spoiled in that schedule. So definitely go check it out so you know what I'm painting. But also, new to everyone, including me, I am going to be painting a G.I. Joe miniature from Renegade's upcoming G.I. Joe RPG, also spoiled in that schedule. So go and check that out. I have not announced the model that I will be painting for that. I got a few choices, and I'm still deciding what it is that I want to paint. So more to come on that. And then, of course, our end of the month stream, last Monday of the month, you'll get one of those as well with another brand new model. So lots of new models coming, but we are going to dive back into Rise of the Psycho Rangers because I have a few of those left to paint for that prize that Renegade is giving away, which that prize is a fully painted Rise of the Psycho Ranger box. So let's head down to the table and take a look at what we are painting. And we are painting the Psycho Black Ranger. This is an interesting model because it's a lot of black on black. And, you know, I don't usually paint with black. I usually paint with German gray, as you... Daddy Louie, did you see the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger? No, I did not. Whew, you're making me sweat. That's exciting. Mighty Morphin Power Ranger TMNT 2-pack of Leonardo and Donatello for the Power Ranger Lightning Collection. I've not seen that yet. I will have to go and check that out. Okay, so as I was saying, black on black. I usually don't paint with black, but because we need to have 2 different distinct shades of black so that it looks like you can tell the difference between his armor pieces and his soft pieces, which are the cloth material that is normally black. I have the pink Psycho Pink here. You can see all the black bits on her are what I would call soft bits. So we need to be painting those a different color on this guy. So I have an idea of how I'm going to do it. Maybe we'll veer from that. We'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with my favorite color, which is Vallejo's German gray. I saw some folks on Facebook that were asking what a good alternative for German gray is because they were having a difficult time finding it, which makes me sad. If you're in the U.S. and you have a Hobby Lobby near you, I know that Hobby Lobby does sell Vallejo, and German gray is among the very few colors that they do stock. So that would be the place that I would try and go and look for it. That's Hobby Lobby in the U.S. In the U.K., I'm not sure. Um, yeah, Amazon maybe. So we're going to go ahead and get started with German Gray. German Gray is our light color. We're going to have the the soft bits be the light color, and the armor pieces be the dark color. So basically, we're going to do all of the underclothes in German Gray, and then switch over to straight black. On camera, it might be difficult to be able to differentiate, and I do apologize for that. I can't control how the camera will look, but I will do my best. I'm trying some alternate lighting today, because I had somebody tell me that the streams are not necessarily the colors aren't showing true to how I'm seeing them. So I want to make sure that you're seeing the same colors that I am. So maybe the alternate lighting will help. Maybe it won't. I'm not sure. We will have to wait and see. So this guy is primed in our favorite priming concoction, which is why is my brain not working today? Wraithbone spray from Games Workshop. And I actually meant to get out a different paint holder that I used a long time ago so that I could show it off on stream, but I forgot to bring it out, so I'll have to remember to do that next time. I may have put too much water on this. So this model was primed a long time ago, back when we were still doing the Rise of the Psycho box regularly. So that shouldn't matter, but for some reason it's not wanting to grab onto my colors very well. But we will work around that. It happens. It may have also been the weather of how I primed it that day. It may also have to do with the temperature in here now. It's a little muggy in the house, in my studio area, but it's all right. We will just work through it. The Rise of the Psycho Rangers, or the Psycho Rangers in particular, in this box are not super complicated to paint, but they're definitely not the easiest models. There's lots of crevices, and man, my paint is just separating completely. I don't know why it's doing that. So the way you combat this, I don't know if you guys can tell how I'm painting. I'll get a big space and I'll throw some paint on it, and I'll show you what I mean by separating here. Alright, let's do the foot here. So we got the foot down here, right? Let me throw some paint on it, and then I'll let it set for a second. You see that? You see how the paint is literally like sliding off? It's not gripping to the model. I'm not 100% sure why it does that. Normally, that's what happens when you paint an unprimed miniature. But this miniature is definitely primed. And I can tell because it's a different color plastic than how it came in the box. So, to combat that without repriming it, just going to fight through it and just paint over it. You kind of let that first coat dry and just keep putting more paint on it, and it should grip and it should take. It did on this leg, you can see, but obviously there's spots where it came off. It's also possible that maybe primer didn't get in those spots. Maybe I did a lazy job priming, and primer didn't get there. It's not seeming to happen in the bigger spaces. Yeah, it is. See? I'll show you. It's weird watching it because it's almost like the paint. You're like watching the paint receding back to another area, not where you originally put it. But we're doing okay at the moment. If you're going to reprime the model, would you strip the old primer first, or would you just do a layer over the original? That's a really, really good question. I guess it depends on, like, if I wanted to. First of all, it depends on what material the model is made out of. Plastic is not as easy, in my opinion, to strip as metal is. So if it was a metal model, it would be a little easier to strip, and I would probably strip it. It also depends on how thick the original primer was. I can tell on this model that the primer is not thick. So doing a once over spray would probably be okay. It probably wouldn't hurt anything. And it also kind of depends on what my purpose behind the model is. Like if I'm entering it into a painting contest or something like that, and I want the very best finish, then I would probably strip it. But for, learning purposes or, just painting stuff for my army, I probably would not strip it. Now, if I threw like an overcoat over top of it, like an overlayer over the top of it, and it still continued to do what it's doing now, see, like I know I painted that right there. Then I would strip it. Because we're doing a lot of black on black, I'm not super concerned with getting primer or getting this base color in certain spots. I don't want it really to go over the areas that are going to stay white, but really that's just these bits on his legs, the bits on his arm, and his belt. Outside of that, pretty much the rest of the model is black and gold will paint just fine over black, as will silver and the other color black that we're going to be doing. So in the interest of time and the fact that I'm now going to have to do like 6 different coats to get that color to stay, I'm going to be doing a lot of just throwing this German gray on. But like I said, we are going to do a different color for the armor bits, so you just have to bear with me while we get this original base coat on there. I just want to make sure that I try my best to avoid the spots that are going to be white because that could be a pain. Um, his staff is interesting in that, based on the colors that I've seen, it's just black and silver, which makes painting it pretty simple. And I say it's interesting because usually when it comes to Rangers of any kind, they tend to have, just a few colors on their uniform, and then when it comes to their weapons, it's either, colors that aren't even on their uniform anywhere, or it's just in weird spots. But this weapon is quite simple. Once I get this this German gray coat on, the first German gray coat, it will make future coats and colors easier to, because they'll have something to stick to. And luckily, I have my paint nice and thin, so this won't get all blotched up when we do get other colors on. It's crazy, like how it almost looks like Venom, right? Like the symbiote moving around the. It's like as it's retracting away from my paint job. It's kind of crazy. Well, I guess they did release the new Venom trailer today, so maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's just my models want to play mind games with me. Psycho Venom. Yeah. It actually sounds like a fun model to paint. Like, I kind of want to do that for my other box, because I have 2 more boxes of Rise of the Psycho Rangers, so sitting off to the side. Maybe I'll have to paint myself a custom Psycho Venom Ranger. Hope everybody's week is going well. I know it's only Monday. Hopefully everybody's got big plans this week. Tomorrow I get to go and get to go see Guns N' Roses in concert. That'll be fun. long as Axel is, you know, conscious. I guess we'll see. You know, the easiest way to show like a venom effect would be basically what I'm doing now. So I think that there's a possibility. I mean, I think that the best way of doing that would be with a predominantly white model. So doing it with like the White Ranger or Dino Thunder White. Basically any ranger that is predominantly white in color would make doing that venom thing. Because doing it with a Psycho Ranger wouldn't necessarily be, because a lot of their suit is already black. This is crazy. Well, that's why we do these. Hopefully teach people something. So maybe I'm teaching y'all how to combat this. The other thing too is it could be that the paint is bad. I don't think that that's the case here, because I've used this paint several times recently. So I don't necessarily know that that's the issue. Oh man, my fingers are cramping up. I do remember having an issue with a ranger in spots where I could tell while it was happening that there was not enough primer on. But this is strange because even if I did do a poor job with the priming, it shouldn't be this bad. Like, the way that this is acting is as if I didn't prime it at all. And again, I know that I did because it's a different color than how they come out in the box. I'm checking another one that's next to me here that I also primed. But believe me, I'll be priming that one again. Because I primed it at the same time I did this. I mean, this isn't so bad that it's unpaintable. That's what I was concerned with initially when it first started happening. But the paint is sticking after a second and third coat. It's just taking a couple extra minutes to get the base layer down and reapply that color. Come on. I know you want to separate in other spots too. But yeah, I do remember that now that you said it. I don't remember if it was from this box. And if it is from this box, maybe it has something to do with this particular batch. Maybe I didn't wash it well enough. I mean, there's so many different things that it could be, you know. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what the issue is. Is it that the model's not clean? Is it, you know, and it's got too much of the releasing agent from the molds? That's why we wash it, is to scrub off the releasing agent from the mold that the manufacturer uses to keep things from sticking to the mold. They put a release agent inside the mold so that the models just slide out of the molds better. That's predominantly used in resin, but I go ahead and do it, especially with the soft plastic too, because those are so highly mass produced. Like under the leg, under here, it's separating real bad. And that would normally be because when I'm spraying a primer, you know, it doesn't get necessarily in those areas. But in this case, it's happening on surfaces, which is what's making me feel weird about it. All right. Well, I'm going to let that initial coat dry. I'm probably going to have to touch it up a little bit. And I'm going to move on to which color should we do next? I guess we'll go. It's hard to do anything else until that dries. Maybe we can do the silver. I'm noticing now that, see, like on my screen, it looks like the background is so dark from the. Let me scooch this over here. Paint in front of the palette so you can see what I'm doing. If you remember last week's red catastrophe with my red dropper, it got everywhere. You can see it's now, you know, slowly taken over the German gray over there. That's why I had to start fresh over on this side. Okay. What were we doing? Silver. So we're going to use lead Belcher for some of the silver areas here. The mouth is still really wet, so I'm going to leave that for a moment. Let all of this stuff kind of dry. I can always go back over that later. That's not a big deal. Because now the paint is staying a little bit, so. Today I was reminded that I had to be on a Zoom call that I'd totally forgotten about and was completely unprepared for. Well, at least you made it. I started my new job today, and they just had a ton of tech issues this morning, so a lot of the things I was supposed to do today for onboarding the new job, I now have to wait till tomorrow, but that's fine. There's a lot of sitting around waiting today. So this is lead Belcher. Let's see how this stays on the model. The metallics aren't as thin as the other paints, and I didn't water it down. So it should be okay, but we'll see. is starting to separate in some areas. My new lighting option here that I got is also not helpful with the with seeing the silver, because it's a little darker for me in here. A little brighter for you, but a little darker for me. Not necessarily brighter for you. Let me fix that. But just different lighting colors, so that hopefully you can see the true colors a little more. Hey, look, it's Alex. Hey, Alex. Welcome. What do I do as a top secret? It's not like super secret, I guess. I do contractor work for the military. I know that that's vague, but that's all you're getting. Or at least that's what I'm gonna do once, like my new job lets me work, because the tech stuff works. Okay. Well, thanks for coming, Alex. I don't know why I'm doing these silver buttons now. That's usually something I do at the end. I guess it's because I had the silver out. Is the stream really quiet? I hope not. I can definitely talk louder if I need to. I'm gonna save the mouth for later. I gotta figure out how to do the helmet. Let's see. Let's look at his helmet. He's got the... no, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll leave that. We'll leave the helmet alone for now. We'll come back to it. Alright, I like that picture the best. Alright, well, I guess we're done with the silver for the moment. I'm going to go back with some German gray one last time, trying to hit those areas that separated a little bit. It's actually doing an okay job at the moment. It's also hard to tell. I'm not going to water it down this time. It's going to be a little thicker, but... yeah, see, I knew I was going to go over that. I don't know why I did the silver there. Okay. Did they mold the white line on the top of the helmet? No, they did not. They did not. So doing that part is not going to be fun. Not going to be fun at all. So I didn't have any separation of color on the silver on the top, but on the bottom it's separated. But that's all right. We will get it on the next go around of silver. The next predominant color is actually black. So I'm going to switch over to black now. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get on that German gray. Except under here by the ribs. I obviously want this to be a stellar job since this model is going to belong to someone. So if I'm being a little weird about why I have to have all of the paint filled in, that's why. If it was mine, then I would just let it go and come back to it another time. All right. Oh, I can see a spot I missed. I probably should switch to a smaller brush. It would probably make this part in particular, getting these under bits. Getting the under bits. Okay. Psycho Black has a lot of razor thin white outlines. Yes, he does. They're hard to see in the art. So, not in the art, but in the screenshots. Because of course, they're all different. So, in this particular with this particular model, the thing that we're going to do to differentiate the armor from the rest of the bits is using black and then making the black shiny, basically. So we're going to make it look like shiny black, glossy black. So we're going to get out Vallejo model color black. I think because I'm painting with no color, I think I'm going to change that and that. Yeah, that's very helpful for me. All right. So this is just straight black. My least favorite color. Boo. Yeah, space bling, exactly. That's exactly what's happening. And I'm going to switch to a smaller brush for sure. Okay. Sorry, I'm investigating the... Let's start with the helmet. Oh, I guess you can't see it, can you? It would help if I painted in the camera, so you could see what the hell I'm doing. I feel like I need to be like super close so that you can see that I am differentiating color here. And maybe I need to change that to that. Again, this probably won't be apparent until I get to the glossy part. I'm doing the outline on the helmet. In person, it's crazy the shade difference between the German gray and the black. I know on camera it's not even like a... Yeah, you can't even tell on the camera. You can tell while it's still wet. So once I bling that out with the gloss, which we'll do right after we're done with this, just so that it doesn't look so boring for the remainder of the stream. But I'm going to look at some pictures. I could do some lines on the armor too. With a lighter gray. I don't know that I would do white. Even if that's how it is in the show. Although I don't think it's straight white. Anyway. It looks like Alex sent a picture, so I will look at a picture in a moment. Gosh, I keep moving the damn thing away from the camera. Oh, shoot. Shoot, Louie, don't do that. Dang nabbit. That will be super noticeable, so we'll have to fix that. I know you guys are probably like, what are you talking about? I can't even see it. It's really blurry. The weapon is making it. I don't know if you guys can see the difference. It's subtle, but it's there between the armor and his. And then I gotta do the lines. And then he has lines in his gauntlets too. And I'll fix the armor and we'll shine it up. Ooh, man, it's separating bad inside the gauntlet. So, it must be a primer issue. Because that's definitely a place where that could happen. Because primer doesn't, might not necessarily get in those spots. It didn't happen too bad on the bottom parts, but on the gauntlets, it happens. It's happening pretty bad. Like, look at that one. I put paint in those, and you can see it's separated. but after a couple coats, it just happens. It goes on there no problem. So, just takes an hour to get the other crap rolling. Going back to German Gray real quick, just to hit a few spots that separated from earlier that I'm just noticing now that I fixed my lights. I'm gonna just move this down here where I keep going. One of my least favorite things about streaming, actually, it's probably the only thing I dislike about streaming. And this goes for regardless of what I am streaming, whether it be painting or unboxings or whatever it is that I'm doing. I really dislike the rules about music. Like, I get it, stealing music, all that stuff can't benefit from, like, I get it. But it just really bothers me that we can't just listen to music. It sucks. This is not Vampire the Nightlife. What? I don't know what that is. Vampire the Nightlife. Could be. We thought you were playing Vampire the Masquerade. Oh. No, I'm painting a Power Ranger. I am painting a Power Ranger. That's a little fuzzy. Okay, so I gotta fix that chest piece area there. Right here. And now we're going to make everything shiny. Well, the stuff we want to be shiny. You want me to sing to you? It just, like, I feel like music adds another layer of, I don't know, something. It adds something to the whole experience, I think. And I just cannot for the life of me figure out how other streamers do it and not get pinged. I've been doing this for a while now, and I still just can't. It says vampire instead of your month. Oh, it's probably because the reason that it says that is probably because that's they have everything scheduled, and they probably just didn't switch what the schedule said. So. Alright, that looks... Sorry, I'm just checking it out. I know that you can't see... You can add music if it's songs you never heard or Elevator's greatest hits. Well, I've tried that. I've tried streaming with music that's specifically labeled as non-copyrighted music, and for whatever reason, it still gets pinged. So I know it does have something to do with copyrighted stuff, but... Alright. So the shiny stuff. For that, we're going to use a Citadel technical paint known as Ard Coat. Essentially, what it does is it acts kind of as a sealant, but in this case, we are using it uh, as a gloss maker, if you will. So anything that we want to be shiny, which is going to be all of the actual black parts, we are going to add a touch of this Ard Coat to it. It is transparent, so initially as I'm putting it on, you're not going to notice it, but as it dries, it will dry glossy. For me, it's even harder to see because I'm basically painting with nothing. I love this stuff. I feel like it's like secret weapon from. It's just like a secret. Not a lot of people know about it for whatever reason. Hello, legends. I don't know how you guys are seeing that on the screen. On my computer, it looks strange, but then again, I've got bright ass lights shining in my face, so. Again, right now, what we're doing is just making all of the bits that are on him that are armor shiny. We already painted them black, so they are a different shade than they're a different shade than the rest of the black parts. And they are, like I said, they're going to have a glossy texture to them. I might have to go, but I think it looks awesome. Almost forgot it was Monday. Catch you next Monday. All right, well, enjoy the remainder of your evening, and yeah, we'll see you next Monday for. I don't remember what I'm painting next Monday. I'll have to look at my schedule on my phone. It's either space pink or space yellow. I can't remember which one. I'm basically going like every other Monday. So like this week is a is a Psycho Ranger. Next week is a Space Ranger. And then it will go back and forth one more time. And then it will be the weekend of the Renegade Con, and then after that it goes to my normal Monday. I am a Renegade Games fan. Is this the stream to hang out? It sure is. Right now we are painting a Power Ranger from the Rise of the Psycho Ranger expansion box for the why is it changing colors? That's weird. For the Rise of the or for Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. And that is what we are doing at the moment. Speaking of games, I finally got to play some games over the last week. I played a lot of... Yeah, last week I had 2 separate days where I played board games. It was crazy. First time that's happened in a while. We did not play Power Rangers, though, unfortunately. Trying to remember what we played the first day. First day we played... Won't sealing the figure after it's fully painted with a clear coat negate the shiny effect of this gloss procedure? If I was sealing the miniature with a gloss sealer, then yes, that is exactly what it would do. It would make the entire thing glossy, and basically all of the glossy that you see on it now would be negated. So to answer your question, yes, that is what would happen. However, I don't use glossy sealer for my models, and also sometimes I don't seal my models at all. If it's for show, or in this case, this is going to a person who won a contest, I'm not going to seal the miniatures. I'll let the person know that they're not sealed so they can make that decision for themselves. If they're going to play with the game or play with these particular miniatures heavily, then they may want to put a sealant on it, and I will recommend a dull coat. It will dull the gloss a little bit, but it won't dull it completely. You'll still definitely be able to tell the difference. And or the person might just want to put them on display. Most of my miniatures are on display in a display case, and because I don't get to game very often, so for the most part, I don't seal my minis. There are, of course, exceptions to that rule. There are some miniatures that I do seal because they get played with a lot, or I worked really hard on them and I just want to make sure that nothing ever happens to it. But so yes, to answer your question, it's kind of a yes and a no. If you use Tester's Dull Coat, which is what I use, it will give you a flat. It will flatten your colors a little bit, but it doesn't do it to the extreme of ruining a job like this. Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, and Pandemic Legacy Season 0. Sweet. Somebody was playing Heroes of the Grey. That's awesome, too. We played the Street Fighter's the miniature game. We played Marvel United. We played Call to Adventure. And we played the new Summoner Wars. Or Summoners. Summoner War? Yeah, Summoner Wars. The new edition. Which was a lot of fun. Right now I'm using the lead belcher to put the little dots, the little silver parts. Yeah, Marvel United is a fun little game. It definitely needs its expansions. On its own, I don't think it's great. Call to Adventure was really fun. But we only played once, and it's kind of one of those games that you need to play once or twice and then play for real because you kind of need to grasp the concept of how the game is scored and stuff like that. And Summoner Wars is fantastic. It's so good. Played 3 games of that, and I just can't. I need to play more. I played with a buddy's copy, and then the next day I went out and got my own. Even though it's one of those games that you only need to have like one person own. Right now I'm just fixing the teeth on the helmet. All right. All right, so we're gonna bust out the gold now. Clank is great. I actually bought the Clank Legacy version, and I really need to get like some of my of my crew together to play it. Because I'm very excited about that. I'm putting the background on the belt medallion. It's supposed to be black. The Power Ranger deck builder, yes, I have that. I've opened it and I have read the rules, and that is as far as I've gotten with it. All right. So while that dries, we can switch over to the golds. Going to use Retributor Armor. Yeah, Marvel United has so many expansions and so many add-ons. Like, it's pretty crazy. I just backed the what am I thinking of? The X-Men version. So the one I have now is I guess it's the Avengers version. But of course, I went all in, so I got all the expansions and all the extra models and stuff. But I'm very excited for the X-Men one to come out. All right, so moving on to some Retributor armor here. This is for the neck seal, which is gold, and that's different from the other Psycho Rangers, because the other Psycho Rangers all have white neck seals. His is gold. I'll be honest, I'm more excited for the G.I. Joe deck builder, which was recently announced, than the Power Rangers, only because the way that the Power Rangers game currently is, you have to play heroes versus villains, and you have to have at least 2 players. Whereas the the G.I. Joe is both co-op and solo, and it has like 36 different missions or something in it, and it just looks really fun. So I'm definitely more excited for that than the Power Ranger one, which I know sounds weird considering I already own the Power Ranger one, but I don't know when I'm going to get to play it, so. From the way it's being advertised, I don't think. Yeah, so unless you play more than 1 mission per game, which, I mean, you probably do. It's probably not just 1 mission per game. Yeah, so that's a lot of replayability. That's my point. Of course, the paint on the buckle is not sticking. I don't know if it's a Renegade store deal. I just know that like the last thing I saw said that it released on in October, and I would think that if it was going to be on Kickstarter and it was releasing in October, then the Kickstarter would have already come out. But I don't know. Renegade does some. I don't want to say weird, but they definitely have an abstract way of doing things. So who knows? All right. Well, I need to fix up some. That is a great question about the Transformers and the Power Ranger RPG. I actually don't know the answer to that. So, story time. When Renegade originally messaged me to ask me if I was interested in painting GI Joe miniatures, of course you know freaked out a little bit first, and then of course responded, of course I would love to. They said they didn't give me any information. They just said that it was going to be, you know, at a convention or one of their online conventions, and that details were coming. So I didn't know what type of miniatures they were for. I didn't know if it was for a miniatures game or what. RPG actually hadn't even crossed my mind. And then I'm trying to remember how it went from there. Well, then it got postponed, right? Because it was supposed to be in July, and then it got postponed until August. And then I asked the question, well, what are the miniatures for? Is it something that I'm going to be able to talk about on the stream? Like, can you give me some information? Because it's really difficult when I'm streaming and I'm painting something that I don't know anything about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, this is a character for a game that's coming out. And then, of course, my chat blows up with people asking, what is the game and when does it come out? And I don't have all that information. It makes things a little difficult. Um, so, so I asked the question, can I talk about it? Can I find stuff out? And I still wasn't given that information. I still didn't know. So then I'm trying to find something like a needle or something small enough to get inside this pot. So then came the most exciting news for me as a streamer. They messaged me and said they were sending me multiple models, more than one, and that it was going to be up to me to decide which model I wanted to paint. So I don't have one model. I don't have two models. I don't have three models. I don't have four models. Yeah, I do. I have four models. I was about to say five, but I don't. I have four. So I have four models to choose from of who I want to paint. But I still didn't know what type of game it was. And then Renegade spoiled to the group that it was an RPG by posting it on the schedule. So that's when I found out, just like when you guys found out, um, that it was a they were miniatures for an RPG. So I had the miniatures already at my house before I even found out what the miniatures were actually for. This is all Thuin Gray. I am just going through and fixing some of these white areas to make sure that they look okay. So yeah, so now I have the extremely difficult job of picking a miniature to paint on stream. And then I asked the question, well, I'm only going to have time to paint one, but can I show all of them off on the stream? And I still don't know the answer to that yet either. So we will see. We will see what they say. I can tell you. I can't tell you who the miniatures are that I have. But I can tell you that 3 of the 4 you'd never be able to guess. So that's fun. What is the size scale of G.I. Joe? Smaller. Yeah, so the G.I. Joe miniatures are based on the models that I was sent. Now, keep in mind, everything is, of course, subject to change. And I was sent prototypes, not the official models. So, what I got may not be, very well might not be what it is that everybody else is getting. But based off of the scale that I was given, the G.I. Joe miniatures are the same scale as what you would see as like D&D miniatures if you were to go to a local game store. So they're about 25 millimeter, 25 to 28. Whereas Power Rangers is heroic scale, so it's like 35 to 40. So they are substantially smaller than the Power Ranger miniatures. But again, they may not be the final version that you're getting. I do not know. See, these are things that I wish I did know so that when people asked me, I knew the answers. But since it is a role playing game, it does make sense for it to be that smaller scale because you're going to want to, uh, you know, use large maps and cover wide areas. I mean, if you've ever played a role playing game, It usually doesn't work really well if you use big miniatures. You usually want them to be fairly small. So that does make sense. All right. All right. Let's see. Time check. Where are we at? The miniature itself is pretty much done. It wasn't a super complicated mini to paint. So, let me see. Maybe we can do some. Let me go back to Alex's post up here. Look at this Google Drive picture here. So there he's showing the lines around the armor. Doing this base is going to be interesting. Well, I guess there's some spots I missed. Yes, Tommy the Green Ranger is definitely in the G.I. Joe RPG. That's an excellent guess. Run back to work. Enjoy work. Forgot about this little logo bit here on the staff. I'm also going to put a wash on the blade there on this part. A little bit of Nuln Oil on there. Where is my shade brush? Oh, there it is. Guess we can see how the paint separates on the top of this base too, if it does. Of course it's not, which is so weird. I don't know, guys. I don't know what was up with that. Is Hawaii in the same time zone as California? I'm embarrassed that I don't know the answer to that. Actually, I'm not embarrassed because I've never had the need to know that before, ever. Hawaii is 2 hours behind California. So it's what? 4:30 in California. So that would make it 2:30 in Hawaii. Maybe he's in Australia, mate. Probably not in Australia, though. So now I'm going to do... so I'm doing this a little different. On camera, you're not going to be able to notice it. But I basically did black on the top, and I'm doing German gray around it. Normally, for these villains, for the rest of them that I've done in this box, I've done the primary color of their armor on the top and then black on the ring. But because his primary color is black, it makes a little more sense to do it this way. I'll see how it looks when all of the other things are done before I box it off and ship it to Renegade. I may end up going back and revisiting that on my own time, we'll see. I realize I'm just about done and we still have 20 minutes left, so I am going to switch very briefly over to the Psycho Pink Ranger because from the looks of it, I never finished her on stream. So she needs some definite help, which I'm going to give her because we have time. Alright, so I'm going to set that off to the side. None of the paint is separating, really, which is weird. I don't know. Setting that off to the side, and what is the scale of these minis? They are 35 to 40 millimeters. So they're big. I will do a comparison for you so that you can see the difference. Because I do have some miniatures next to me. So if anybody remembers that Disney Infinity game, this is Iron Man from Disney Infinity. So you know the in the size of the Infinity characters. And that's next to a Power Ranger miniature. So smaller, but still up there in size. You can see the difference there. Next to a Marvel Crisis Protocol miniature. This is a 3D printed, but still the same scale. This is Killmonger. He's like 30 to 32 millimeter, I think is the size of Crisis Protocol. Again, this is a 3D printed model. This is not an official Marvel Crisis Protocol model, but it's the same exact scale, so the sizes are identical. So you can see the difference there. And here is Skeletor from the upcoming He-Man board game. And so you can see the difference. These guys are small. This is 25 millimeter scale, I believe. So. Okay. So yeah, definitely was not done working on her when I was painting her. So let's see, what can we do to spruce her up a bit? Maybe we just work on the base for now. Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Bring out. So she was primarily painted with pink horror. So we'll get some pink horror out. Let me put my wash away before we make a huge mistake of a mess. Pink Horror is such a cool color to paint with. And we will definitely be using this color next week. I think we're painting space pink. Let me just look while I'm thinking about it. No, it's yellow. Space yellow next week. Then Psycho Red, and then Space Pink. So Space Pink is actually last. So it's good I'm doing this now. So we don't get too much redundant color on the channel is never good. I'm going to let that dry. I need to get some blue stuff. Where is the blue stuff? I have some random things on my desk. So I can usually never find what I'm looking for. I have unopened Cabbage Patch Kids cards. Too much pink energy is dangerous. You're absolutely right. Did I say Garbage Patch? I meant Garbage Pail. Yeah, one day when I was like bored on, not bored on stream, but if I was like done early or had time to kill, I was gonna just randomly open a pack of Garbage Pail. Trying to bring some 80s and 90s nostalgia to the streams. Show us the Pokemon. I have so much Pokemon stuff now. It's insane. Like, to think that I was not much of a collector of Pokemon stuff, like, in February. If you look at my collection now, it's just, like... And I totally started as, like, oh, I'm going to do this with my kids, and they lost interest so fast, and my interest just, like, accelerated. So yeah, I have a lot of Pokemon stuff. And not just cards, I got toys, plushies. I got a hat, statues. I'm looking over here because it's all lined up on my shelf over there. All my cards are upstairs, though. Oh, you've sold me some stuff before. Nice. right now my Pokemon obsession is around the Topps cards from the 90s. I'm trying to like get build up like some of the sets from that, um, which is so much more. Um, it's a lot of fun. I don't want to say it's more fun than the trading cards, but it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely not as expensive as the trading cards if you can find people who are willing to make you good deals. There are some people who like overvalue stuff like way too much, but um, and then I just don't buy from them. I mostly just look for people who are willing to sell me stuff for good prices. The trading cards I get but the Topps cards, no reason to charge crazy prices. All right, so that's. I was waiting on that pink to dry a little bit so I can put one more coat on there. Obviously, everybody came to the stream to watch the Psycho Black Ranger, which we did in record time. I think that shiny armor looks really cool. It definitely puts a nice change of change of color, separation of the armor parts versus the non armor parts. I think it turned out really well. And then we just kind of switched over to this Ranger really quickly just so that we could finish the base. Because it was unfinished from a previous stream, and we had some time to kill. And yeah, so we let those dry. And since it's 5 minutes left, I think I'm going to open some Garbage Pail Kids cards. Why not? This is the 6th series, whatever that means. I got these from a buddy who was just going to throw them away. And I was like, don't throw them away. I'll open them. And if anybody wants the gum, let me know and I will send it to you. And you can eat that. So we've got Nervous Nelly. That's a sticker. Oh, they're all stickers. Are all Garbage Pail Kids cards stickers? Wardy Ward. Rustin Justin. Handy Andy. And Cherry Bomb. Those are super cool. Well, I didn't know that they were all stickers. Some of them on the back have like little comic strips, and then some of them I think go to like a big picture. It's pretty cool. I got another pack for another stream, so if we ever get to that. What can I say? I'm an 80s kid stuck in a 90s kid body. I mean, technically I'm an 80s kid. I was born in the 80s, but, I didn't really experience the 80s. I have all the Nintendo Power e-reader Pokemon cards and the E3 Pikachu card with red cheeks. Well, if you want to ever get rid of any of those, you let me know. I especially collect Pikachu stuff, but right now I'm in a I collect everything phase. So I bought yesterday. I went out with my wife and I bought so much He-Man stuff. I went to a liquidation sale. I found a Castle Grayskull in the box, and I bought it. And then I went to Target, and they had the brand new Battle Cat from the Revelation show, which is huge and awesome, as well as Adam and his Sky Sled. That's what it is. And the Sky Sled thing was on clearance for $15. I was like, oh, I gotta get that. So, yeah. I bought a lot of He-Man stuff yesterday. Anyway, that is it for today, I think. The Black Ranger turned out really cool. And, of course, we finished up the base there. The Pink Ranger, we'll let those dry off to the side. Next week, we'll paint the Space Yellow Ranger, this little lady right here. Definitely going to make sure that we prime her really well so we don't have those issues again. Yellow is a terrible color to paint, so that'll be fun to play around with. And yeah, I think that's about it. I don't have anything else. You guys got anything else? Well, you're like on an 8-second delay from whatever I'm saying. So anyway, thank you guys, as always, for sticking with me, spending this Monday with me. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you chose to hang out with me this afternoon, evening, and I really, really appreciate it. As always, thank you to Renegade for having me on stream. This is a dream come true, being able to do this week in, week out, month in, month out. Don't forget that we have the entire month of August Monday streams here. So make sure that you tune in next Monday at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. We will paint the Yellow Space Ranger, and I'm sure we'll have a good time and good laughs and all that. Oh, that goodness. Go check me out over on YouTube, youtube.com/Circle of Nerds. Please subscribe. Helps us out a ton. That's where you can find all of my content, game reviews, painting guides, and things like that. Been on a little bit of a hiatus, but new content is coming, I promise. And anyway, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. And don't forget, play your games. Bye, guys.